You can get lost out there.
Okay. All right, well, it's here.
Arrow. My arrow's my
Arrow.
roll.
So our guests have arrived here, so thank you guys for trudging out on this blizzard that's starting to develop here today. We've got Mr. Van Lois, who both of you guys have been out here before.
Right, yeah.
It was many years ago when you guys were first.
How long ago was that? 3 or 4 years?
Oh,
Maybe longer.
it was probably like 5 years ago. So appreciate you guys coming out here. Maybe if you could kind of just step back a little bit with sort of the history of Heather Ridge. I sort of told folks that Heather Ridge had a kind of similar situation with our rec center, and that it was owned at one point by a guy who didn't really care much, neglected it, had a lot of land developer speculators that were ready to sell off the property, and you guys kind of got together and formed a metro district. And maybe you can kind of go a little bit how that developed, what steps were needed, and let us all kind of know how that's started. So, you guys want to start?
You know, maybe
Either one of those mics.
we've got this thing so memorized. Well, Heather Ridge was put together back in the early 70s, and they put a golf course, and they put the community guy came and talked to us at one of the meetings. That was the engineer that drew the plans out on a yellow piece of paper, walking through wheat fields out there. And this is going to be where Heather Ridge is, and over here is going to be Heather Gardens, and that's how it kind of started. And then the situation is developer came in called EDS, is that what it is? EDI, and it was a developer from Canada, and they came in and put together Heather Ridge, and at that time, everything was new. I-225 wasn't there, I believe, at that time. And it was a big, hot area for young up-and-comers. There were a bunch of airline pilots and flight attendants, and Ron Zapolo moved out there. It was really the place. The first golf membership was to, golf number 1 was to John Love, the governor. And it was a hopping place, and from what they say, back then they would have an event every night at the clubhouse, and it was standing room only, and lines trying to get in there, because it was really going. And at that time it was going, and they developed 10 different Heather Ridge communities, or HO, around the property. And that property showed the golf course, but it was not in any way, shape, or form part of the plan for the future. There just happened to be some homes out there, and they weren't part of the deal. So the property went through, the golf course went through several ownerships. The bank up in Casper had it for a while, and they were taking money, EDI was taking money out of this project, and what they did, and they went for Plum Creek. And then they, there was other kinds of things that were going on. So American Golf took it over, and then they bought it. And they were the operators, the management of the golf operations. And it stayed its status as a private company. And they were losing money on it. And Dick Jorgensen was a banker here in Aurora. He was the president of the old Omni Bank, which was at Isla and Xanadu, and then that turned into Key Bank, and then Key Bank was closed there and went over someplace else. And he started another bank called American Bank, which is I think it's right across the parking lot from Yaya's over down at the tech center. And so he ended up getting a girlfriend, and they got married, and he kind of decided, offshore down by a golf course. So he put together a deal with a country club member named Gary Wanger. Wanger lives up the street here on the other side of Mission Gate, between here and the Walmart. Isn't that where we are? And I don't know, high school development, go past Bellevue and it's off. But anyway, Wanger had been a country club member for a long time, and he and Jorgensen, the new owner, got together and they put a deal together, and I believe he bought Sunset. He sold the tennis courts and volleyball, tennis courts and handball courts to Wanger for $850,000, and they also that's just west of the clubhouse. And it's north of Iowa. Blackie is so dedicated, and she worked so hard, and she was so proud of what happened with her. But essentially, she notified us that, hey, the city's been approached, they want to develop. So the 10 HOAs got together and had kind of a meeting like this, and we all sat around and said, what we're going to do. And we decided, do we want to be, the big question we asked the community at that point is, do we want to be proactive and save that golf course, or do we want to be reactive and just, when something happens, gather at and everybody said, we want to be proactive, really a reactive mode, figure out how we can be proactive. So we went to the city and we said, how do we do it? And they said, well, you can form a metro district. Now, we didn't know what that was. Well, how do you do that? Well, they essentially helped us do that. And our efforts were recognized by the city shortly thereafter, where about 300 citizens from Heather Ridge showed up at a city council meeting to address an issue that was not on the agenda, which is pretty unusual. Normally you go when it's on the agenda. Well, when something's not on the agenda and you got something to say, you have the 3-minute thing where people can go in and do that. And we put together a pitch, 4 different people got up and told city council that Heather Ridge was here to stay. And we wanted to make sure that they knew that. And everybody had orange fluorescent badges on, and we had signs up and all that kind of stuff. So, it was kind of a, everybody kind of was, the council was kind of amused because they'd never had a showing like this for something that wasn't on the agenda. And we got some press and publicity on the thing. So how do you how do you form the metro district? Am I going into too much detail? You know that I'll probably wander on for another 5 minutes.
Well, no, we went through some of the similar steps with the library here.
Okay.
Where we ended up in city council. I think Todd was there that night. We had a bunch of kids from the elementary school reading poetry and singing. It was the same thing. We put on quite a show. And the kids all came away and they just couldn't believe the city council thanked them all for coming in with the decision already been made to close the library. And all the kids about started crying.
Yeah.
Including ours. Yes, go. So.
Well, how we organized was, we organized really well. There's 1,127 homes in the 10 HOAs. And of course, each one of them has a board. And we asked that each of them have a representative who was vocal and who could speak on their behalf at the meetings. And we made decisions as we went along. And we called that group the United Associations of Heather Ridge. And people didn't like what we called it, but you know, it went more about something else. So anyway, we formed that organization and we met about once a month or as required. And we went through the steps of what it's going to take to form a metro district. And so we started interviewing attorneys because you got to lawyer up to do this stuff. And we interviewed 4 or 5 attorneys, and we had sat down and said, okay, we've selected one. And in fact, we called a couple of them, said, you're not going to be on. We called the one we just selected. We called the other ones, said you didn't make the cut. And the next day, I got a call from Tower, who was the mayor at that time. And he said, we found an attorney might be only work with you pro bono. And you know what that means? We figured that was about $140,000 at least. I mean, after we got all said and done. We got everybody in the community, because you got to raise money. Thing is, you got to lawyer up. And you got to be determined that you're going to get it, make it work. And you got to figure out with the math and all that stuff how much it's going to cost everybody in taxes. And so anyway, we formed the Metro District, and it was there less than 2% of the residents play golf, and it was passed by 86%. And but we did this. We said we're not doing anything as far as going out to try to buy the golf course. All we want to do is just form this district. We'll be a government. We're essentially forming a moat around the golf course that everybody wanting to come in there has to deal with, because we've got, we own all the land around it, and they've got to, anybody he sells it to, that district better know, what's going on with it.
What was the mill that you started out with?
Well, it's about, I don't know, it's about $450 a home per year, 30 years.
Well, we actually started the Metro District. We had to have what's called an administrative fee, just simply to pay the attorney to handle things. We hadn't floated the bond issues yet, and we were at minimal bills at that point. I think it was like 5, and it was like a $25,000 a year budget, and so there really wasn't much to it. And then as events were to progress, and this is where Earl was getting to probably the better part of the story, as to the owner committing suicide, literally as they were seizing the property. And so then the property, so the bank had to make a friendly transfer. They basically said, we have to go through the process, statutory process of this. And so we spent a year, I think it was, getting through that. And then the key was how we organized, we got the word out. My job in this, I'm a real estate broker with RE/MAX, and as I look out here, I see Mr. Paul Finger. I go back, what are we at, 40 years? Yeah, we both look young here. So anyway, basically my job was communications. I put together the magazine that we utilized, the newsletters that would go out. We had a great group of about 5 people that really worked well. Nobody was out there trying to grab the limelight, so to speak, but we all felt a threat, and that's kind of how we presented it. But as Errol was saying, the mill levies, we started out minimal, and then as we progressed into it, we determined that to do what we're going to do to buy the golf course, we purchased it for 3.1 million bills, and then we had to pump in another almost 3 mil to bring it up to standards because there was so much deferred maintenance. So by the time we computed that, at this point today, our mill rate is 42.5, and based off the averages and important to the average homeowner, because the average homeowner is going to get hit based on the value of the mill rate. And we guaranteed that we would reflect on the bills every tax season so that the bills, they had to go up. We would make sure that people knew they were going to go up, but at the same time, we wouldn't bring them back down. We held to our promise. So we made a commitment, and it's been honored. So we really, I think, had a tremendous amount of credibility in the neighborhood. And believe me, there were people who were against us and actually moved out in protest on this.
The thing we did work so well is we had a good nucleus of people, those 10 people that were in the 10 HOAs. But the way you do that, it was on leadership. I mean, we were talking to these people. When we'd have a meeting, they knew what it was. They knew the agenda, they knew how we wanted to end up. And they all joined hands, and we were pulling the wagon in the same direction. We would have people stand up. We'd have what we call big tent meetings, where we'd have the whole community invited. And once in a while, you get somebody that had too much, go backwards on it, and the crowd would boo them off out of the room. And but we absolutely, the thing that did it was our determination and our being dedicated to make this happen, and not let anything get in the way. And the city read that, the community read it. The community they were skeptical because we didn't know. They knew we didn't know what we were doing, but we kind of acted like we did. And I'll tell you, it's been unbelievably. As we look back, we didn't know where we were going or how we were going to get there. But as we look back, I don't think of anything we could have done any differently that would have turned out better for us. And the only thing we wish we had now was younger people on the boards. We did things too with the attorneys. We said, when we want to go to one election, and we want to get everything. We don't want to have any term limits. We want to make sure that the directors can serve as long as they wish. We want to be able to raise about $87 million. I mean, that's a lot of money. Because we never want to go to election again. We went and we said we want 5. I mean, that's what we got. But when they voted on 87 million with a repayment of 80 million or something like that.
The key on that thing was that we were putting a metro district on already developed land, so that most metro districts are used for raw land, and you put and all that is cumulative, and then you get to the point where you put the properties in, you sell them, you repay the bonds, and you do this thing. Classic things down in Castle, there's an area called the Meadows down there. That's about how to do it wrong. And a lot of it's timing. You know, they developed it in the middle of the session back then. But in our situation, people protested this. They said, "What are you expecting us to sign up for $87 million? Are you nuts?" And we said, "Well, we might have other things down the road, but the nature of what we're doing is rather well defined. It's a written aspect in terms of the service plan. That's the key word, the service plan that you have in the city." It worked out well, and so we didn't have to go back and do battle on this again. About different attitudes come in. You want to get it up and running well, and then let it take off on its own.
We developed a mission statement that was pretty simple, but it was right on target. We didn't want to talk about the golf course in that mission statement. A lot of people don't want to buy a golf course. Golf. The thing was, the first thing our mission was to preserve the open space. The second one was to protect our property values. And the third one was to maintain our way of life. Because there's an element in Aurora that keeps moving south. And right now the line is kind of like at Mississippi. And if this thing would have gone through, I mean, they were talking 3,000 to 5,000 new apartments and condos up and down our fairways. And the infrastructure wouldn't take care of it. And the schools, it was just the fact we had to present it that, hey, this is what are you going to do if we don't do it? Because it's not going to. So that was very clear. We started every meeting with that statement, and we ended every meeting with that statement.
Harold, did you find it was easy to form the district first before you then hit them with the other bill about when you?
Yes, but we didn't have to worry about hitting them with a different amount, because what our presentation was what we've got is this moat. We put the district paperwork up on the shelf. It's still alive. If something happens, then we can just flip the switch and just start doing whatever we need to. And at that time, I think your property tax is going up $20, $30 a month, a year. $20 to $30 a year just to pay the attorneys and the state and keep the thing alive. And but then what happened is, as Van said, what kicked it off was when the owner committed suicide, and he did that on July 30th, 2008, and we bought the property on December 1st, 2000. So it took about 18 months, 14, 16, 18 months for the whole thing to work. And the thing is the bank wanted to sell it to developers. And they looked at us like, you peons, you don't know what you're doing. And that's kind of the way they were right. We didn't. They were right. But they pretty much disregarded us. And we'd be in an event, they'd be there, and they would, we were too low for their conversation. I don't know if you felt that way.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, you guys running the city municipality. What's your experience? How was that gone? Was it gone well?
Well, I used to have brown hair before.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it was all.
now you have renewal elections every so often.
We don't have elections. Well, let me say this. There is an election if you've got 4 openings and you got 5 people running. There's going to be an election. If there's more people running for election than are open positions, you got to have an election.
Is that something that you guys?
No, that's a rule. That's
statutory.
It's part of the, yeah. Now, we do have, however, the ability to appoint people when somebody leaves. And we put all kinds of criteria on that. At an election, anybody that owns property in the district, any renter, anybody that anybody can vote. And they can be an office. They can be a director. But we set up criteria for who could be appointed that's pretty stringent. There can't be, if it's appointed, there can't be more than 1 person per HOA on the board. There have to be at least 3 directors from either side of Iowa. We've got 9 holes on the front, on the north, and 9 holes on the back. So we want at least 3 directors. We got 7, so half of them. The person has to be listed on the Arapahoe Yeah, the tax. It can't be a trust. It can't be a corporation. That guy's name or that lady's name or the spouse of that person can qualify.
Are you guys compensated
No,
for your service?
no. We got one guy that we have that is compensated, and he draws a salary. He's kind of the asset manager. He watches the roof and the, all the stuff that goes wrong with the clubhouse. And when they come in to pay or do whatever, he's kind of the on-site manager for the district. So we pay him, but we don't pay him much.
And the clubhouse and the golf is all leased out to, you've got a contract with somebody.
We got a food and beverage contract, and then we have a golf management company contract. And then we got a contract, I do the website, and the website is pretty important. People go to that thing. And I mean, we keep everything transparent. We've got nothing that happens that,
Yeah, and the big thing that I think has been the glue that's held the neighborhood together has been a monthly magazine we put out called Metro Matters. I meant to bring some copies here, but couldn't find them. We have them all on our website. Harold's done a great job with the website, so you can go to our website and look at every issue, every note that's gone out since day one. And this whole thing started in '05 to say we've kept records that way. But the magazine itself, we've got all 10 HOAs submitting articles for their community. We've got things about the Metro District. We run advertisers in it. So we make it multi-level interest and stuff. And that really has become a glue in there. And so a lot of people mostly interested in the community, real estate. And so I'm not compensating this thing, but I run an ad in there along with another agent by the name of Pete Trainer. And we've been doing this now for a number of years. And what we've done is we've consolidated the identification of people to the neighborhood. They bonded with the neighborhood. And once you do that, then you get more interest in the neighborhood, you get more people on board and you get able to participate. And in our mantra, we talk about the three things we talk about. One is preserving real estate values. And that's important, I think, for every neighborhood. That really drives the horse, the issue.
And then, I told these folks here too that I think I was talking to Van you about this as well, that we were having a little bit of discussions with Arapahoe Parks and Rec and maybe joining their group. Have you ever had a situation where you have a neighboring community that has wanted to join the district?
Yeah, one has, and it's once it's formed and put in place, it's pretty tough to add. Yeah. You can do it, but it gets expensive, big expense to the group coming in. We had one HOA that split, half of them are in and half of them are out. And their HOA management firm sued us. And the judge
threw it out.
He didn't question it.
It's pretty complicated, pretty number of steps.
But they wanted to be excluded when we were initially formed. And because half of them were, there's 328 homes in that HOA, and 100 of them are on the golf course. The other ones are across the road. The 228 across the road aren't in the district, and they wanted to keep the other ones out. But as Van said, communication is absolutely, being open with everybody, telling them, breaking everything down in layman's terms, because I'll tell you, this isn't an easy thing. And, but we had to really create the issue of why we needed to organize and stick together.
Well, the biggest thing was rumor control. And we get people who call us and say this or that. I didn't get some of the wildest stuff you've ever heard. And they'd say, we have to respond to it. And I think that's what the newsletter publication took root. Because those rumors are.
A rumor was coming out of a snowbird that was living half a year down in Arizona. And somebody said, I heard, thing going down. And I said, where'd you hear that? I heard it from this guy. And I called that guy and I said, what do you hear about Hitler? I heard that. I said, where'd you hear everybody talking about? Well, I said, he said, well, I said, well, let me tell you something. I heard it's starting with you. And I'm telling you, we got this. And we got another thing where there's three guys sitting on a park bench, and the first guy says, they're old guys. First guy says, it's a Wendy. And the second guy said, it is, I thought it was Thursday. Mm-hmm. And the third guy said, so am I, let's all go have a drink. And I mean, it's that kind of thing where people are, they aren't hearing the same thing.
What we're trying to do, are we living in fantasy land? The fact that the rec center's already been sold and it's already closed. I mean, are we talking about something that we can't impact? Or
well, our property was not, it was owned by a private individual when we started. And he knew what we were doing. And he didn't like it. But I mean, it was owned by somebody else. And everybody knew, maybe it wasn't, but you have a new owner, from what I understand, where it is. Our guy had been there a while, but he was kind of new because he knew this is what he wanted to do. And we didn't agree with what he wanted to do. And so that's why we formed the district. And we scared the hell out of people because that, it could get bad. So, I mean, maybe it's the same. I don't know. I don't know your situation that much, but I think you're trying to have a little more control from the neighborhood.
And did you approach door to door when you held students in the meetings?
Mostly through the meetings, but a lot of them not. But we also had this infrastructure of the 10H. The original members were people who lived in the golf course. My wife and I lived there for a number of years. And we had just bought a house on the number 14 green. We thought we were going to bury the backyard or something like that. And then this thing happened with stage. How the hell did I not know this? In the sense of this, the golf course is always going to be there. Well, no. And you look at what's happening across town now, and was it Alwood? I don't know what that, that is just a mirror image of what we went through. Thing. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because they are looking at forming a rec district, a metropolitan rec on that.
Well, we've been contacted by several. We've been told that we're the first ones that ever bought a piece of property and made it a public. We made a public golf course because it was private. There's a situation where they buy a property and make it private. I was involved in a deal like that, like Loveland. But the situation is the key to it is, first of all, it's going to cost, I'd say, I don't know, it's going to cost in the 6 figures to get an attorney involved. And I mean, you should talk to someone to see if I'm right here. But the situation is, you've got to lay out what you're thinking about with an attorney. And you need to do that before you go to you got to have your ducks lined up and know which direction you're going before you get everybody involved. And, but you need to talk to an attorney just say, hey, is this feasible? Or can we
Let's do two more.
When you said 10 HOAs represented about how many homes?
1127.
What have we got to work with?
We've got 2,000. Actually, more than that, if you include Seville, it's more like 3,000. Seville and Cherry Land.
Now keep this in mind too. Our community is not nearly as affluent as yours. I mean, the average home in our community was what, 100?
Years ago, it's like everybody else. House had a little bit, but.
More than it was with us. And
He's lowballing because he wants to sell them.
this guy got a rich man.
Yeah. Was it like the other thing, Daryl, it was going to lead up to is, I mean, you're tied to the hip with the county assessment.
You said there were a couple of folks on council pretty supportive of maybe some.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, Bob lives in this neighborhood, doesn't he? He didn't think it was very nice.
Yeah, we
Already aware of what's going on and scared to death. So, vote in favor of what's going to happen. And you got to have some numbers down. So, and I'll tell you, it takes some dedication. There's some retired people that can dedicate the time, because that's what we have a list. We have the agenda, and the minutes of that meeting are all there, and it's there for anybody to look at any time. And you know, attention to detail and having all bases covered, so that if anybody brings up something, you got the answer for it. You know, and that's.
Any questions? So you sold this at $450 per year for 20 years.
because we've got areas in there that are below 100,000. We have areas that are about 200,000.
And obviously, our RecCenter sold for $1.5 million. Probably needs some improvements to it. So, but, you know. Has been almost absent. And Creek has been almost absent. South, I have no idea where they are now.
Yeah. But you gotta build a fire under all. I mean, you got.
Any other questions? All right. We're just a little bit over. Yes, but they're clear.
We appreciate, you know, letting us know.
You need to also make sure that you